was looking at my calendar the other day and suddenly realized my birthday is actually coming up really soon. And it made me want to do something a little special. Not buy an outfit, but make one myself. Hi everyone, my name is Valentina. Welcome and welcome back to my sewing vlog. I spent quite a while thinking about what I wanted to make. At the same time, I really didn't want to buy a new fabric, so I decided to go through my fabric stash and see what I really had. But honestly, inspiration just wasn't coming. For a long time, I couldn't really find an idea or a reference that felt right. The only thing that finally sparked a bit of inspiration was some leftover organza from my previous Bridgerton project. So in the end, I decided to make this light semi-sheer blouse. I feel like it's going to look really festive. Overall, this project isn't meant to be anything super complicated or over the top. I wanted to feel light, both literally and mentally as well. So I decided to keep everything pretty simple. The silhouette, the construction and the pattern. And actually the pattern is already ready. I basically took an old base short pattern I made back in fashion school and just slightly modified it. So let's get started. Right now I mostly draw technical sketches, but honestly I'd really love to learn how to create beautiful fashion illustration, something more expressive and atmospheric. I'm just not quite there yet, so I'm treating it as a goal for the future. By the way, I'm still having a small issue with my printer, it's keep printing with a red. I read that it probably needs a proper cleaning with a special liquid. In any case, if I manage to fix it, I'll definitely let you know. Before printing any pattern, I always do a test. I print a test square and check it carefully. It's kind of must for me now because it's much better to spend a couple of minutes checking than to end up redoing the entire pattern later. To be honest, I'm usually pretty lazy with my mockups. I might only sew one sleeve, sometimes I even skip certain detail like the collar, but this time I want to be a bit more thorough, so I actually did a more complete test and checked the collar as well. So guys, yesterday I sewed a mock-up of the blouse and honestly I love looking at the mock-ups. They always look a little funny because they're made from random fabrics. In my case, an old bed sheet, and you're basically just trying to imagine how everything will look later in the beautiful, more expensive, more luxurious fabric. So, but anyway, speaking about the blouse itself, overall I'm pretty happy with it, although there are a few small things I'd like to change. Right now it feels like the blouse is missing a little bit of volume, so I'm thinking about adding a bit more fullness to both the front and the back of the pattern. I also, to make the sleeves more voluminous at the bottom, to do that I'm just not going to taper the sleeve too much towards the cuff, so it stays a little wider. And the last detail, I think I also make the collar slightly higher, so it creates a so little fold. I think that could look really beautiful, especially with a semi-sheer fabric. Since my organza is leftover from another project, Bridgerton project, I was initially worried that my pattern pieces wouldn't fit within the available fabric. I had to retype the pieces and try different layout options to make everything fit. I really didn't want to make any adjustments or alter the pattern itself. So likely I had just enough fabric and there's even a tiny bit left in case I decide to add some little detail later. And honestly, I'm really loved working with organza. You probably can't even imagine how nice it is to sew with. And there's actually another really nice thing about working with organza. You don't need to use the iron all the time. Very often you can just work with your hands and gently press the fabric like this and shape the edge. And honestly, it feels like a little bit of magic. I decided to finish all the seams with French seams. And it turned into such a repetitive, almost calming process for me. I really got into a zen state and just relaxed mentally while doing it. By the way, those who've been watching me for a while already know that I often have issues with the seam allowances. I either make them too small or cut them down to almost nothing, and I had the same problem here as well. Leave a bit more seam allowances when trimming off the excess. So here's we are. Yesterday I joined all the main pieces of the blouse together, and now we're getting to probably most complicated part of this project, the cuffs and the shawl stand collar. For the cuffs I'm using this as my main reference. I think they are called French cuffs, but I'm not completely sure about. By the way, Paris Fashion Week is happening right now, and I've been following it with a lot of interest. I'm absolutely in love with Jonathan Anderson's work. The way he refreshed and basically brought new life to Loewe, and what he's doing now at Dior is just amazing, in my opinion. And also the collection by Mathieu Blazy for Chanel. Just look at the silhouettes and the way he approaches historical shape in such a modern way. I know that a lot of people are questioning this right now. Someone says that classic brands are becoming too modern and their audience might not understand it, but I think the audience also sometimes need to stay, so to speak, on the edge of fashion and style. And there was also a very inspiring story. A 9-year-old designer, Max Alexander, debuted at Paris Fashion Week. I think he's actually the youngest designer ever. And honestly, I find that incredibly inspiring. You know, I still don't really feel like I can fully call myself a designer yet. I mean, maybe because I feel like I don't have a very clear position or voice just yet. But stories like Max, or for example Vivienne Westwood, who started her design career around the age 30, or Vera Wang, who became a designer at 40, those stories really inspire me. And I guess it doesn't really matter whether you start earlier or later in life. What really matters is just doing the work, continuing to create, and believing in yourself. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but it really is true. And sometimes I start thinking that maybe one day, after some time, I also be able to say, yes, I'm a designer, I'm a professional sewer or YouTuber, whatever. But for now, guys, I'm going to keep sewing. After cutting the cuffs, I make slits at the bottom or the back side of the sleeve so I can attach them later. I start by finding the center of the back, then move about 2 cm towards the seam and make a slit about 12 cm long. After that, I finish it with bias binding made from the same organza. Honestly, it's not the easiest step, so I like to secure everything with hand stitching first, just to keep it in place. I also sew the cuffs along the edge and turn them right side out, and this is where the iron comes in. I press one of the open edge of the cuff inward and go over all the seams on the collar and the blouse to make everything look neatly and hold its shape. Next, I create gather using two long, loose stitches, gently pulling the thread to evenly distribute the fabric. I take my time here so gathers look soft and even, and then I attach the cuff. After that, I trim the excess seam allowance, and from the side where the edges are pressed in, I close the seam. I first secure everything with hand stitching and then very carefully sew along the edge. I finish the collar the exact same way. By the way, when I'm editing my videos, I see how hunched over I am while sewing. It totally makes sense why I've been having some back issues lately. And yeah, I finished the hem of the blouse with a white hem. Overall, it's a pretty simple step. So guys, here's the deal. My blouse is basically done. I'm not going to show you it just yet. Let's save that little surprise for later. But for now, we're going to try making buttonholes on organza. And honestly, I've never done this on organza before. Okay, full disclosure, I probably should have thought about these buttonholes earlier because honestly, the best ones for this kind of fabric are usually bound or keyhole buttonholes. They look super clean, very luxe, and just gorgeous. But since I already finished the cuff and didn't plan ahead, we're doing them on the machine. And here's a little twist. Usually you would use some stabilizing interfacing to keep the fabric from shifting. Oh, surprise, I don't have any. And there's no time to order it. So we're just going to do it our own way. I did a couple small test runs on strap just to figure out how it would work. And now I feel ready. So, of course, I wanted to share the process with you right away. And honestly, that's part of the fun. First, I start by marking where the buttonholes will go, and to keep the fabric from shifting around, I secure it with a bit of hand stitching around the mark. Then I attach the buttonhole foot and place the button in it to get the right size. And here's a little trick I like. At the back of the foot there are these tiny prongs, and I wrap the same thread around them in two layers. It helps make the buttonholes a bit more raised and defined. And then comes the slightly stressful part. I take a breath, focus, and carefully sew the buttonhole. After that, I just trim all the extra thread and sew the button on the other side. And there we go. I finished it, and honestly, it turned out pretty nice. Now I'm just cutting, opening, very careful. And that's it. Look at these cuffs. They turn out so really beautiful. Wow. I love it. From the vibe and the flowers, you can probably tell that yesterday was my birthday. I turned 33. We celebrated, went to a little Italian restaurant. It was all very cozy and really lovely. And you have no idea what my husband got me as a gift. He gave me this camera that I'm actually filming on right now. Just look at it. It's so cute, but also really powerful. It's a Sony ZV-E10 II, and I've been dreaming about this camera for a long time. I've wanted a second camera for a while now. First of all, to make my content better and more beautiful, and second, to film faster and more easier. Well, at least I hope so. By the way, I almost forget to tell you about the blouse. It turned out absolutely beautiful. I feel like I look a little bit like Mary from Aristocats in it. So I definitely recommend making something like this. And I'm especially happy that I finished all the things neatly. It really makes the blouse look very clean and even a bit loose. And the shawl bow just completes the whole look. It adds volume and makes the outfit feel more expressive and more stylish. And speaking of plans and goals for my next year, I want to keep growing my blog, create even more beautiful content, and get more subscribers and views on my channel. And of course, I really hope to finally launch my Patreon on Etsy. This blouse is definitely going to be one of them. Yeah, I know that I might be doing a lot of things slowly and maybe not perfectly yet, but I really want to do everything right. And sometimes my little perfectionist streak slow me down. But I'll get there. I'm going to create even more and better content, and I also release the long-awaited Jerkin Birkin bag pattern, this blouse pattern, and a lot of other exciting things. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoy it. I'll gladly accept your birthday wishes in the form of likes and comments, and definitely check out another videos on my channel, especially where I saw Bridgerton inspired masquerade ball gown. It actually fewer views than it deserves.
Ew, this is so cringe. Guilty.
But personally, I think it's my best video on my channel so far. The next video will be coming really very soon. Love you guys. Bye bye.